he may have been like just for the fun of the discourse, exaggerating a little bit. But I was just trying to argue. Can't you just be neutral about these things? I mean, you don't have to be, anti them, but you have to accept that they somehow are going to take humanity to a new place. I mean, is humanity now really any better off in any way that matters than it was 100 years ago? And is it really going to be any better off 100 years from now because of any gadgets that come along? I mean, looking at humanity from a kindness, compassion, spiritual health point of view, it's hard to know if
certainly in terms of community,
I think that it definitely influences communication speed.
Yeah.
So your ability to spread information, spread ideas, the nature of communication, it takes where it was and magnifies it 100-fold.
But isn't it just sort of like a zero-sum game where the people who have negative ideas and negative energy can spread things just as easily as the people who have positive energy? So to just sort of, unbalance really those.
It creates the necessity of common sense and all the things that you value in your own kind of virtues. It has to translate at a larger scale. So yes, those things do exist, but there are people out there to catch people who are doing bad things. So the speed of communication, the level, the communal level of understanding, it's making people understand things quicker.
And does that, I guess the question is, I could see how that could be true. I mean, like your dad took that movie with me in New York when the Oracle came up. It was a year ago or a year and a half ago or something like that. And I came up here and Laura and I got on the computer, in our bedroom, and we saw the film, right? So I could introduce who you were and all. I mean, I can see how that can happen.
Yeah.
Like,
that's huge, huge.
But is it huge in any way that's going to fundamentally make humanity better? I mean, do we know that yet? I mean, it seems like, the telephone was a huge revolution when it came along, right? And the TV, I guess, was a big revolution when it came along, and the automobile was a revolution. All those things have had good and bad effects, probably on, humanity. But it's interesting to ask the question: Is global society, human society, as we know it today, any better off than it was in 1695 when Shakespeare was writing Macbeth or something?
I would say the difference.
Shakespeare didn't write it.
That's not part of this discussion.
I would say the speed and accessibility allows for whether it's good or bad or just a reality.
Yeah.
It causes people to have more information at their fingertips. People can become more specialized. People can become more informed. And at a level that is increasing people's knowledge base, and communication ability.
And ultimately, you feel like
it's in real time.
That those
if you
things,
have an interest or some idea, it's the cloud becomes bigger, and if you're not contributing, then you're not participating in the cloud. But if you are participating, somebody who finds same subject, you become connected with similar interests. So the ideas become the speed. I think it affects speed. It affects the idea that it might have taken when you had to write letters, it would take you 2 weeks to get the word out.
Right.
Or 10 days, or however, horseback.
Right.
Now, if you need to call somebody, it's immediate.
Yeah.
But it's not community. Now,
and listening to the bees in the field here,
crickets.
And quietly the crickets in the fields, and all the bees are out there too, I think. But
they probably are. You're right. I didn't mean to.
You weren't listening hard enough. You weren't listening hard enough. But the truth is, you won't be able to hear because you've got so much current. What do they call it? Of the moment. So much noise. That's right. What is it called?
White noise?
Yeah, the white noise of everybody communicating to each other, whereas the little bees working away, they're the ones that create the apples.
I just am not convinced. I guess fundamentally, I think it's all true. People are communicating faster. You can know more. If I have this track, this Ford tractor over here that I have has a little, it's losing power going uphill, and it has it must be a little crack in its manifold gasket or something, so it's popping a little bit. And I can go online and I can type in Ford 8N losing power uphill, and boom, you're on a chat room, and there are all these guys telling you, oh, you got to fix the governor, you got to change your spark plugs. There's no doubt that I can sit up here, and I couldn't have been on this hill 100 years ago and solved my problems like that quickly. Like, that's true. But is sort of beyond that, just the sort of the commerce of daily activity, is there anything really being improved by this thing? I guess it's just a matter of...
It's improved consciousness of things. So
it's also an addiction to electricity that is, and a dependence on electricity that I think is kind of a fundamental flaw of this whole thing. I mean, as this all advances...
Gary, your synapses make contact because of electrical impulses.
Well, no, that's true. But there's a difference.
Of scale. And let's say you brought the electricity down from the sun and converted it to a battery charging for an iPhone.
Right.
That's okay. That's not so bad.
Well, I'm just saying.
I mean, this isn't fossil fuel necessarily.
No, and I'm not, and it's not necessarily. I just think there's something even more just about I don't know, the sort of power grid that's going to sort of envelop the world as these things become more and more integral.
No question,
that is something that is happening, and we seem to like to think that it would be good to sort of, I don't know, detach ourselves from our addictions, our societal addictions, whether they're alcohol or whether it's crappy food or whatever it is. And I just feel like it's definitely something that's happening. The electrical grid is going to become more and more, essential. And I just think that's not necessarily a good thing.
Right. Good.
And
now that's
anyway.
Reporting for Roger Smith News on the hill on our way up to the Oracle. We're on our way to the Oracle.